So there's two broad areas that eye tracking is developed for. One that Tom mentioned already is augmented reality and virtual reality, so wearable eye tracking, where the eye tracking technology is attached to your head in some form, typically with cameras looking at your eyes, possibly with some extra illumination. And another broad area, which tends to be called remote eye tracking. Typically, it might be mounted on a computer monitor looking back at your face. And so as well as figuring out where your eyes are looking, it also needs to figure out where your head is. And so if I can get everybody in the audience to stand up, and of course it's the end of the day, so maybe it'll get your heart racing. And so not everybody in the world has used any type of eye tracking yet. And so typically in an audience like this, some people will have used it at a trade show, maybe once or twice. Some people, particularly in Silicon Valley, might actually be developing eye tracking. So if you've never used eye tracking, even once at a trade show, please sit down. And so it looks to me like maybe a third to half the audience have never used eye tracking. So if you've only used eye tracking perhaps as a developer or maybe used it for one small project, so if you've only used it a little bit, maybe only as a developer, please sit down. And so it looks like maybe 90% of the audience is sat down. So my goal, and everyone else can sit down now, please, although if I haven't met you before, please come and talk to me afterwards. My goal is for maybe a few years from now, when I give a talk like this, everyone will have used eye tracking. It's a challenging problem. It's not yet solved. So first, I'd like to talk just a little bit about eye tracking applications, because again, most of the audience hasn't actually used eye tracking. I'll be talking a little bit about both head-mounted display-based eye tracking and also remote eye tracking, what some potential applications of those are. And because it's late in the day, I'll get a little bit of audience interaction there, hopefully wake people up. Then I'll talk a little bit about the eye, because you need to understand the signal that you're measuring. What features of the eye are you looking at? Why? Why are they interesting features? Why are they difficult to track? And talk just briefly about the history of eye tracking, and then a little bit about how people implement camera-based algorithms in particular for eye tracking, and I'll mention some other approaches in passing. Because my background is more in wearable eye tracking, I'll focus a little bit more on some applications of where you might use eye tracking in a headset, and then review very quickly what the requirements might be on camera sensors and processors in order to implement an eye tracking system.